Aiden and Ollie,
Yeah.
welcome. Nice,
Thank you.
so nice to have you both here. And we have sunshine actually in
Beautiful.
England, so it's what kind of makes it even more special because this car deserves that. Look at that beauty. So thank you for bringing it here.
No
It's
problem.
our actually episode 9, if I'm not wrong,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
8, don't remember now. And it's great to have a proper American car.
you.
We didn't had so far something as special as this, so it's really nice.
Thank you.
But before we start talking about this beauty, I really want to understand how you got into cars. Why this car? Your story behind it.
Okay. So I'm not from an automotive background, really.
Really?
No. I think growing up in the 80s over in Rugby, I remember one huge American car. Everything was jacked up then.
Yeah.
Big and little wheels, and it kind of left a lasting impression on me. And I've always been in sort of the custom car side of stuff. Started off with Volkswagens because they were the cheapest and easiest.
Makes sense, yeah.
Stayed with Volkswagens. Did a Mercedes lowrider in the late 90s.
Which Mercedes?
It was a 220D, 1970.
All right, it's a cool car as well. It's a very cool car.
Yeah, so that was in the late 90s. Then back to VWs, ended up with the camper van, again lowered and customised. And then one night I was drunk on the internet, saw this come up about 8 years ago. I'd always wanted a 64 Impala, and obviously when I had a lowrider they were the car to have, but then I'm too old for lowriders now. So this came up. I realised with the prices of the camper vans had gone up. After another couple of beers, it made more sense.
Oh, I love the story. Yeah. Are you into cars or not?
I'm not like really into them, but I kind of have to be with this in the driveway.
Oh, you must too. Look at that. It's impossible, in my opinion, it's impossible not to fall in love by something like this. I've been in the US multiple years of my life, and every time you see a big American classic, I have Ranchero, as we have some friends here with Rancheros. And it's amazing to see them driving around because they don't go unnoticed, right? They're kind of proper machinery.
Yeah.
So the story that you bought this car drunk on the internet is absolutely amazing. I love that. That for me is even more special now. So what was the follow-up? What happened when you got it?
So yeah, it wasn't far away, picked it up from Tamworth, so only about 40-50 miles away, drove it back. It was largely standard.
Not drunk at that time.
I was sober by then. So yeah, it was largely stock mechanically. Had some centerline wheels on, which I've since changed, and since then it's got the small block V8, but it was a standard exhaust, and you couldn't really hear it. And I thought there's no point having a big car like this if you can't hear it. So, and then shortly afterwards, I found out, very fortunately, there's a firm called Williams Brothers Racing, about 5 miles in that direction down in Bugbrook, who specialise in making these big old things go quicker and look better. So Nick and Dan Williams down there, so they've done most of the work on the car for me. So like I say, it was largely stock, so I could show you the engine later. It's got
we'll have a look at that.
New carbs, new exhaust, MSD ignition, and generally everything tarted up. And as you can see, it's well used.
That's why I love it. I love the patina, the kind of the paint as it is.
Yeah.
If you start changing, I mean, this as kind of just respraying it and trying to get it, it loses its character. It loses what it is about. Yeah. And it's in a very good nick, isn't it?
I'll
tell you one thing.
Apart from the paint, the bodywork wise, it's pretty straight.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And this is the original color.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the original color.
Yeah.
You know when it was imported to
It
England?
came over 2 years before I got it, so about 9 years.
From where?
From Minnesota.
Oh, right.
So right up the top of America, snowy bit. I've got lots of pictures of it in the snow in Minnesota.
Oh, that's nice.
Apparently the story was a father and son out there sort of semi-restored it, got it going with the intention of driving it from one side of America to the other. Unfortunately, just before they were due to set off, the dad died. So
Oh.
the son just put it away.
Right.
And then the guy I got it from, Mark, up in Tamworth, had heard about it, brought it over.
Okay.
He had a few American cars, and then,
And
yeah.
did you have, this is your first proper American car?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a great night. I can tell that. It was a proper night. Fantastic. Absolutely. Look at the length of it. Look at the proportions and the
Yeah.
way it looks. And I love the contrast roof as well. I think it makes it even
Yeah.
longer because the body, of course, it has all this tension in the surface, very long lines and beautiful kind of simple body sections. And the roof being lighter makes the kind of the whole body of the car even longer than the three sections of it. So this car being a 1964, it represents a very specific moment in time in the US, right? Where these opulence, big cars, and kind of this revolution in the design was part of this status, social status as well.
Yeah.
So I think here it represents much more than that. It represents the American lifestyle that you would have in that time,
Yeah.
the American dream, and driving it. How do you feel that? Do you feel kind of, does it teletransport you back? Does it give you this sense of, oh, I'm really in California and dreaming, or
Yeah,
in Minnesota and dreaming? Kind of, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I love it. On a rare sunny day, you're tootling along. I never have the radio on. I'll just listen to the
Yeah,
engine.
you don't need the radio,
Don't need a
right?
radio. Like I say, got the windows open, pillarless. It's a lovely thing to drive. Just cruise along. Motorways, it'll sit at motorway speeds fine.
How does it drive on motorway? It's probably like a boat, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, one of the other things we did, we put some QA1 shock absorbers on the back,
All right.
which has stiffened it up quite a lot because it was very, very bouncy before.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So the rear end stiffened up. So no, it drives fine, drives straight. Obviously gets a lot of attention.
I imagine.
And it actually, because it's a square or rectangular, it's actually not too bad to park because you can see the corners rather than.
I imagine that it's not a car that you take to Tesco's for.
Yeah.
Is it?
This is always at Sainsbury's or Tesco's, yeah.
Really?
I do school runs in it, I do tip runs in it.
Oh, that's a good question for you, actually.
Yeah.
How is to be driven to school into something like this?
It is good. I mean, the other week at college, you picked me up in it, and all my friends wanted to lift home too. So everyone saw us getting into it.
Oh, I imagine.
Driving out, everyone heard it, obviously.
Sometimes I drive my kids with my Mini, the Union Jack Mini.
Yeah.
And now they love it. In the beginning, they were like, oh my God, kind of everyone's looking. And I imagine this, 8 a.m. in the morning, there's nothing like that, right? You get all the regular cars, and then suddenly you get something like this with the rumble and the
Yeah.
noise and the kind of all that amazing presence that it has. You mentioned that you haven't changed much
No.
on the body or anything like that, but you have done some work on the rear suspension, you have done some work on the engine bay.
Yeah.
What else have you done kind of mechanically to get it more sound since you got it?
Well, not a lot more than that because it was in good nick when I got it. It's still running the drum brakes all round.
Does it brake?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, you can lock them up. I had someone pull out on me the other day and stopped in time. So yeah, all the electrics are done. These cars do have an issue. There's a sort of electrical connection on the bulkhead that always goes.
Okay.
And basically cuts out the ignition. It's a well-known fault with these. We've had all that replaced. Obviously, along with the engine bits, all new spark plugs, wires, this, that, and the other. Just to get it all going.
Yeah, just the normal
All reliable, yeah.
workflow that
I think
you
in
would get.
years to come, I might look at getting a bigger engine in it. It's only got 283 at the minute. Be nice to maybe get a 383 in it.
Yeah.
And the guys at Williams Brothers, they
Will
put one together for me. But then obviously once you start upgrading that, you've got to start
so you
upgrading
need
disc brake,
suspension,
disc
brakes,
brakes,
it's transmission,
gearbox. Yeah.
gearbox. Yeah, it never ends, right? It's always.
Exactly.
But that's the cool part of it because
Yeah.
it's
And
an ongoing project
And
that.
it's how far you go with it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because you don't want to make it undrivable.
absolutely.
It drinks enough petrol as it is. You know, it's.
I have something that I'd like to think that if I have a car that drinks more than me, I need to start to drink more
Yeah.
to just kind of be paired with it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't have this one, I would say. Interior-wise,
Yeah.
stays, as I can see, as original as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Front seats starting to tear, so this
yeah,
side's fine. That side's starting
And
to
that's the
tear.
original, of
It's all
course.
original.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. So I think the headlining's still holding together.
Yeah.
Um,
And it can throw apart inside this car, right? How many people have it?
I think I've had about 8 or 9 in it at one
Really?
point. Yeah.
Did you try
yeah.
to kind of?
At a VW show, yeah.
Oh, right. So
Yeah.
kind of. As I said, there's no way not to be impressed by the size of it and on the exterior, but on the interior, it's just something else, isn't it? Oh, look at that. I feel special just by sitting at this thing. Oh, love the sitting position
Yeah.
and the steering wheel position.
Yeah.
Very, very upright, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good. And you're lying to me. You can't see the corner. You can see the corners.
Just about.
Just about you can see it. Yeah. So it's a 4-speed, of course.
2-speed.
2-speed.
2-speed power glide. Yeah.
Oh, it's a 2-speed power glide.
Yeah.
And it's not important, but how fast it goes.
How fast does it go? I've had it up to sort of 90-ish.
That's so cool.
But yeah, it will
That's
sit
really
at 70 all
cool.
day.
Yeah. And it's impressive as well how simple it is, but how refined at the same time it is, because all this kind of one single shape holding all the dash together as a graphical element, and this kind of silver inset here is just kind of enough to keep it very neat and beautiful. Again, I'm a car designer. I'm always stunned by solutions that you see how different they are in American cars and European cars at the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, would never get something like this. Interesting thing, it's supposed to be a 4-seater.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
realized that.
Yeah.
Wow,
And that's the speaker.
that's a beautiful speaker.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice. Love the lights on the pillars.
Yeah.
Pillarless as well, no B
Yeah.
pillar, so proper coupe.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So the Impala was a sort of the executive level
Yes.
one, as opposed to the sort of Bel Air or the Biscaynes, which are slightly further down.
So one of the cool things that I can see in this car is the color that you have in the exterior continues exactly more or less in the interior, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a continuation, and this is really cool because sometimes you get these American cars that they have beautiful exterior colors, and then in the interior you get this messy kind of mix of different things. So I'm not a big fan of that. And the bench seat, which is a split.
Yeah.
So they're both foldables or not?
Yeah. Yeah. They both fold forward.
So let's have a look at that. Which is not usual, is it?
No. So yeah, they sort of fold forward at kind of an angle.
Oh, that's to kind of
to
increase
help people get in and out.
ingress space
Yeah.
and foot swing and everything. That's really nice. Because usually you don't get that. You get a kind of full bench seat that doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's the original owner's guide.
Oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
This is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I love old cars. You don't get.
And there's the original bill of sale.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
When was first?
Can't actually see the date.
December 63.
December 63. So even though it's a maybe that's when he bought it or ordered it.
Ordered it, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because it's December, isn't it? Yeah, so
yeah.
really. Oh, that's special. Really special. Love it. Let's have a look at that
Okay.
bonnet. Woo.
That's a bit mucky.
Street Warrior. Look at that. So much space.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
and it's a proper big engine.
Yeah.
Even like that, so
Yeah.
much space for upgrades and anything that you'd like to do here.
Yeah, pretty easy to work on. I'm no mechanic, but I can do the basic bits.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like you say, you can get to everything. It's quite agricultural in a way.
And
fairly
it's the nature of these cars,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
how they're built and how they were built in the past.
Yeah.
How the suspension arm kind of.
Yeah, so the plan is to get that all rust-proof treated at some
Yes.
point as well. I've got to get that done.
Do you know anything about mechanics?
Nothing
Here
at
you
all.
go. You have the best place to learn.
Yeah,
Huh?
can help me.
So have you performed any work yourself or
No, I
just
tend,
the
I,
basics?
just the basics. Yeah,
Like oil
I
change
tend,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I tend to leave it all to the Williams boys. They know what they're doing. Yeah, I'd say.
I truly believe that this front end, it's bigger than my Mini, my classic Mini. Just this. If I look at it as I'm kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
So yeah, so we've got a new radiator in it as well.
So how many brake horsepower you said?
I think from factory, I think they were about 200. So with the carb and everything else, well, we estimated maybe 250 now.
250?
So it's not like a drag racer, but
Nah, but
it sounds loud. It sounds faster than it is.
but that's the thing about these cars. I assume you bought it to enjoy, right? To kind
Yeah.
of, it's not for racing.
No.
There's different purposes for different cars. I think this one, it could be transformed into a kind of air suspension and racing
yeah.
and big tires and massive engines, blowers and
Yeah,
whatever.
there's so
but,
many different looks for them.
but you need to understand why it serves to you, and this is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And if it's cruising, if it's enjoying on a daily basis, you don't want anything overcomplicated or
No, and
crazy
I've
to-
always tended to run quite low cars. Certainly the VWs are all very low. And when I got this, it was like I could discover new roads again, and not have to avoid speed bumps or obviously the potholes and stuff. So
yeah, because you have, it's a normal thing for these type of car, the type of tires and wheels that you have. They're kind of such big tires
Yeah.
and kind of big
Yeah.
tire wall as well. So it's very comfy, I assume.
Yeah.
Those are 16,
15s.
15s.
Yeah.
Very cool. Original wheels as well.
No, so I picked these up. I saw these for sale, and they were actually from a guy called Barry Smith, who's just the other side of Northampton. So they're only sort of 6-7 miles away. He was going to put them onto he's got a 64 El Camino, the pickup,
Yeah.
but they didn't quite fit, so he put them up for sale, and slotted straight on. So yeah.
They look very nice. They suit it
Suit the look of a car. Yeah.
pretty nicely.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed how all the trim and all the metal work.
Yeah.
It's kind of really neat, isn't it? It's all really, really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
You open the hood, not the bonnet, because that's a hood, right?
yeah.
The American version of it. But I think, and I assume, the trunk is as big as the hood.
Yeah.
So let's go for that. Oh my Lord. Look at that.
Where you put the dead bodies.
Multiple dead bodies. Man, this is crazy. You can throw a party here. I'm sure about
Huge.
that now.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously that would be where the spare wheel was normally. But yeah.
Oh, this is so cool.
This is why I say I take it down to the tip, do tip runs in it and all sorts, because you can get a lot of rubbish in that.
That's mind blowing. And I like that.
Oh yeah.
Because you probably run.
Yeah, that's why I got two.
You got two, yeah. That tells a lot of the story on this.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Really cool.
Yeah.
So proper close it.
Bang.
Bang. You can't imagine cars nowadays having this massive front end with all these metal kind of elements and these corn edges and kind of pointy edges and stuff like that. So it's impressive to see how, again, design played a major role in this time when they were
Yeah.
kind of creating these cars. And One thing that you don't see anymore, now we have all the lamps separated from the grille and everything like that. In that era, it was normal on the Chevys and many other cars to have all integrated in the grille, in the bright work, as we say,
Yeah.
and having the lamps kind of, in this case, quad lamps sitting proudly in the corners here. So really, really, really cool. Massive bumper as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
This is probably heavier than me.
Yeah.
You know how much it weighs, the whole car?
No.
But
don't.
quite a lot.
To be fair, I've heard they're not as heavy as some of the sort of Fords of the era, because these
Okay.
have got the X-frame chassis.
Okay,
which-
it's the one that kind of.
Yeah, which
I saw where
which made them a bit lighter apparently. They're still obviously pretty heavy, but
yeah.
not as heavy as some. And I think they ran the X-frame chassis, I think 58 to 64.
Because the front end is really imponent. It's really kind of as cars from that time. It's really wide, and it makes we kind of, when we are designing cars, we're always trying to make the corners of the car kind of go wider to have this big presence. And even if this one has a very high bonnet edge, is still quite wide because it's a massive car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Differently from the rear, where we have the kind of 6 lamps, 3 on each side, it's still framed, isn't it?
Yeah.
The theme repeats itself.
Yeah.
What you got in the
Yeah.
front here, so the bumper disconnected, the frame around it, and the triple lamps.
And that's how you tell an Impala, because they have the 3 lights,
Is
whereas
the signatures.
Bel Air and Biscayne just have 2. And they don't have that one, but the Impalas have 3.
And that's the signature of the
Yeah.
car, so that's the important bit of
Yeah.
it. And it kept going through all the generations as well, right? As they moved on kind of down the line, they
Yeah.
always had this triple
Yeah.
lamp signature.
They started. I think sort of started around 58. And then they had the 59 that didn't have the 3 lights, had the big sort of cat size. But yeah, all the Impalas then had the 3 lights.
It's really, really nice.
The other thing about the roof as well, they made the roof to look like a convertible roof, so it's got like the bow in it, like
As you would have
Yeah.
the arches
Yeah.
holding it.
yeah. So
Yeah. It's a really clean car in the way it's designed. It's quite surprisingly
Yeah.
refined but simple on the same way, right? Imagine at that moment in time to control all these lines when kind of trying to build it and design, make all these panels really
Yeah.
work with the highlight and get it strong like this.
yeah,
It's a hard job for designers and engineers at that time.
yeah.
You know, one thing that I haven't seen,
The exhaust
exhaust.
comes outside.
Oh, there
in
it
there.
is. All right. One side only.
No, both sides.
Both sides.
Turn it on if you want.
Yes. As you said, this thing. It's a proper experience, isn't it? It would be just.
Yeah.
I imagine the previous owner thinking about cruising the whole US on this.
Yeah.
That would be such an amazing
Yeah, it would be
experience.
good,
That
wouldn't it?
would be just so unique.
Oh, look at that one.
Yeah, that way. So that's a. I need to cut how many times I said I love it. Otherwise, people will go crazy on me. So, can you stop saying I love it? Oh,
No, it never gets boring.
no. And as you said, the roof liners,
Yeah.
perfectly in
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah.
So for a 60,
64, so 61 years old.
61 years old, it's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know if
perfect.
it was restored ever in the States, I don't know, but
It's really, really good. How is it on a normal? I imagine that cruising is one thing, right, on a motorway. How is it on driving it on kind of normal roads in a city or something like that? How does it feel? It's big, of course.
It's big. It's obviously all power steering, so it's all
Comfy and
comfy. Yeah. Yeah. It's obviously big, and you'll get the odd time where it won't fit in the parking space or in it.
just yeah.
But no, so far, no problems.
All right. And I could not pay attention to Batman. Why
yeah.
Batman?
I don't know. I think
You
it
don't
was
know,
like
just like it?
when the boys were little, they were always into Lego and stuff like that. So
And you inherit.
it's just ended up there.
I thought that you felt a little bit more Batman in this car.
No,
Yeah.
no. I spent part of my childhood in Africa, growing up in Africa, so that's why that's there.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, all standard.
Absolutely amazing. So, Adi, thank you so much
No
for this.
problem.
It's really, really fantastic opportunity to be in a car like this and share your passion with us and be part of our channel. So,
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.
thank you so much. Really appreciate that.